Welcome back, everybody. My name is Dragagon, and this is GregTech New Horizons. So, in the background, I've been doing quite a bit of stuff. If I open up, you'll see I've been messing primarily with plants. I am trying to crossbreed lots of different plants, try and start getting those seeds. I try not to AFK it for too long because I can forget about it, and I've had weeds crop up a couple of times. The other thing I'm doing is off to the side, I've started doing the tropical bees, trying to get the silky combs so that I can complete these quests down here in the how to bee section. So I am working on those kind of in the background. I'm just letting them run on their own where I don't have to think about them, and they do pretty well for themselves. You will notice I have completed several different quests though. After getting the raw silicon, I started to go down the silicon processing line, did some polyethylene. I've made a piston and a pump now, and the idea being that as I unlock these things, I can start working on more and more stuff. It's still pretty polluted here. As you can see, I'm getting the weakness and the slowness and stuff like that, but otherwise things aren't going too bad over here. If I open this guy up, I've got a bunch of sodium. I have 4 of the silicon tetrachlorides, and then I have another set of 4 raw silicon with the chlorine necessary to make another 4 of these guys. And then the quest here has you take the 4 and the 16, and it recombines itself into solar grade silicon, and then half a stack of salt. So the salt and the chlorine reuse each other. So as long as I've got like a stack of salt, I can make the chlorine. I can take 4 silicon, or in this case 8 silicon, because I'm doing a full stack of salt, and I can go back and forth and just pump out as much of the solar grade silicon that I need. And it is dark again. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way there. There we go. And so, yeah, that is something that we can do. You can see here I've also gone ahead and I started down some of the AE2 stuff with making these charged quartz crystals. So yeah, I was just going to fill out a little bit more of this stuff here. I've got those guys so that they can run, and of course that's loud. I've been doing a lot of stuff with the advanced electrolyzer. I had to make a battery though, because the recipes were like breaking every other time. It would run out of power, and then it would continue to run out of power unless I stopped it, waited it for a little bit, and then started it back up again, and then it seemed to do all right for another cycle, and then it would do the same thing. So it was a slow going process. I finally made a battery. That was one of the things I wanted the polyethylene for, was to make these battery hulls. It's required there in order to make these medium battery hulls. And then I did a bunch of the, I think it was the lepidolite dust, in order to get, I got a bunch of other side products, but I did get some aluminum and then a bunch of the lithium, and so I was able to make, I was actually able to complete this quest, which required 4 medium lithium batteries or sodium, and I prefer the lithium because of the increase in power there. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. I am working my way again through all of these chemicals and stuff. The next one I've got the stuff for here is making sodium hydroxide out of sodium and water, which leaves us with some leftover hydrogen. And then, you know, you saw this stuff, so I can now get this guy by in the chemical reactor reacting the sodium with the silicon tetrachloride. I think there's a way to do it with both items. No? Okay. So I guess I have to put the tetrachloride in, put the sodium in, set it to a circuit of 1, and then it'll pump out the silicon and salt there. So that's not too terrible. It's a pretty self-feeding cycle as long as you just feed in the silicon. So that's not so bad. But what my idea was is I'm going to start with the advanced fluid extractor. I'm working to make 1 pair of good circuits so that I can make this guy. And then if you'll notice in the quest, we can accept a reward of 2 more good circuits or a loot bag. In this case, I'm specifically going for the 2 good circuits because then I'm going to immediately turn around and I'm making the advanced extruder so that I can start getting things, the biggest thing being rods, made without having the extra dust. Now you might be wondering why I don't go for the extruder first, and the whole reason why I'm not going for the extruder first is because all it gives you is a loot bag. So I'm going to lose whatever 2 circuits I make, but at least when we get the fluid extractor, I can then extract molten redstone alloy now that I can freely make it. Well, not freely, but you know, now that I can easily make it with the EBF up and running and everything, and then I can make a bunch of vacuum tubes, resistors, and then I can pump out a bunch of electronic circuits, and then those things can go into either making more good circuits, or if there are other things that need just the normal electronic circuits, I can start making those as well. So it's a cost efficiency thing here for me to also do it in that order. So yeah, there is our 4 more silicon tetrachloride, and if we take that full stack of those guys there, let's see here, we can react those things together, get the regular silicon out, and a stack of the and a stack of salt back out, and I'll probably put it back in here so that we can reuse it. But the other thing I'm working on is making Iron III Chloride. The whole reason for the Iron III Chloride is to make these empty circuit boards, these good circuit boards, using the Iron III Chloride and just 1 ingot of gold instead of having to make it the old-fashioned way with 4 things of gold. So yeah, making a huge cost savings there when it comes to gold, simply by making this Iron III Chloride. So I'm not sure, let's see, it wants the hydrochloric acid, which in the chemical reactor we can just do with 1 and 1. Doesn't look like there is one where I can just put in the 2 canisters and just have it react. So yeah, we'll just have to do it that other way. So let's see here, we'll set this guy to 1, and we'll do that up there, and then where'd the other go? That down here. Let that run a couple times, and there we go. So now we've got our hydrochloric acid. Again, sorry about the noise. And then I just need to grind up 6 iron dust. That's going to be more noise. Hang on here. There we go. And then we'll run away from here. Let's, while that is running and making all of that noise, let's just go ahead and come over here. I've got you know, my little farm thing out back here, and you can see some of the plants I've been working on. Hey, they're 1 crossbred, Argentia. I don't need that one anymore. Wolfsbane, so there's another witchery plant that I think we can easily get that one anyway, but you know, it's already here. I may as well just let it finish growing. I've got Garnedinia, which is a garnet-bearing plant. I've got the God of Thunder, crossbred out of a Titania and a Nickelback. And I've just got it sitting there, and it crossbred with a wheat to give me creeper weed. So I'm letting that thing grow up as well. Right back here, I have this Plumbilia with a lead ore underneath it. And there we go. There is lead. And let's see if we can get, there we go, and there's a nickel. Excellent. So there's those things. Oh, and that's already at max, so let's go ahead and grab it. Hey, look at that. We grabbed one of those. Get rid of the wolfsbane. And then, so we have an Argentia. I already have 2 of those seeds, so I'm just breaking that. And yeah, here we go. The Nickelback will feed in with the Argentia, and hopefully I'll be able to get a couple of, you know, a couple of other metal type crossbreeds similar to the Ferru back in the back there. And again, just keeping on with all the different seeds back there as I can. So Plumbilia, Nickelback, and Wolfsbane now added to the list. See, there's my 2 Argentia. And yeah, I've got a fair decent amount of seeds. Some of them starting to be some of the other stuff. Plumbilia, Shining. I've got 2 Shining seeds, or 3 actually now. I did finally get Stickreed. I think I showed you guys that last time. I ended up getting a Dark Oak Bonsai. Turnip, Zom plant that we got from something, from a quest earlier. So yeah, just all around a good set of stuff there just from doing those. And then of course out here we have, and they're not going right now, which is good. That means I can come up here and do this again. Here we go. And there we go. So I'm just letting those guys run and just going to slowly be building up my silky combs to complete that quest. But yeah, let's go check on our stuff. It should be close to being done. Get some more of our stuff going here. So 6 iron dust. There's that. And then once we have that, we can do our Iron III Chloride in there. Yeah, iron dust, 3 empty cells, hydrochloric acid, and it'll get us some hydrogen and some Iron III Chloride. So, and then the hydrogen can feed itself back into making more of the hydrochloric acid, and it's just a matter of feeding in chlorine and iron in order to complete those loops. I don't have a way of making chlorine just yet. I don't have anything like a oh crud, what is it? The thing that makes gas tears. There's a plant that'll drop gas tears, and you can convert that either into salt water and then get chlorine that way as a repeatable loop. So that's something we'll be looking into before long. So there's that. We have our 18 hydrochloride now. So if I do this and we do this and then I do, whoops, not that, that. And there we go. So now we'll have some hydrogen 3 chloride and some hydrogen gas done. So yeah, that is coming right along. Again, that'll go into making a couple of good boards so that I can then make a couple of good circuits, so that I can then do this ping pong of making the advanced fluid extractor, getting 2 more circuits, and then making the extruder. And then from there, I'll worry about other things. I know some of these other quests give more, like the advanced compressor. I could get a couple more good electronic circuits. The advanced centrifuge, I can get a couple more circuits. So we may look into those. We may not. Some of them are not worth it. Like the centrifuge, I think takes 4 of them, so I've got to make some more myself anyway, regardless of whether we ping pong around and try and get some of these other things. But all in all, I'm pretty satisfied with where we are. So I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll bring you guys back in once we have a little bit more progress to show. Okay, I've got us set up a little bit further along now. I've gone ahead and I made up the stuff for another batch of the solar grade silicon. The only thing is I need more of the raw silicon dust. So I did move my miner over to this lapis site so that I could pull in some lapis ore. Specifically the sodalite and the lazurite both do really well for getting you aluminum and the raw silicon, so that will work out nicely. I have the stuff necessary up here to make my 2 good circuits, and then in here I've got my molten soldering alloy so that I can just drop it in and have this guy create this stuff up. I also went ahead and got myself a new gallium arsenide crystal so that once I have this the solar grade silicon, I can put it to use making some more of the making some boules. That's our next step when it comes to anything here, is making these monocrystalline silicon boules. in order to make the wafers, and then once we have those wafers, it'll make our circuits that much more efficient on the gallium and arsenide, or arsenic, sorry. Alright, so there is my two good electronic circuits. And then over here I have all the stuff necessary in order to make both the fluid extractor, which is right here. So we plop these guys in, double check it is the fluid extractor, so there we go. That will get us a quest complete, and then we can go into that quest and we can accept these good electronic circuits, and then turn right around and also put in for this right here, the advanced extruder. So there we go. Looks like a couple other quests completed that I was not expecting to complete. Bio for the masses. It wanted just an advanced fluid extractor for that, and an advanced fluid extractor for this. So whether you go after the seed oil or the fish oil for that, and then actually making it, I guess it didn't actually need you to make it, you just need to have the extractor available to work towards that. After that, there's just some sodium hydroxide, which since I completed this quest, it will complete as soon as I go back and get it out of the chest. And then the last thing is making ethanol or methanol, or I guess in this case only methanol. But that doesn't really matter as much. That is just a quest line to help you with getting to I don't know if that's biodiesel or if it's actually going to continue on to cetane boosted diesel or not. So yeah, there we go. Those two guys are done. What I'm also going to end up doing is grabbing a couple of batteries here, and that way I can set these guys up, put batteries in them, and have them available to start using. The first one, I'm going to put it up here because this is a redstone alloy cable, and then off of this side as well because that is also a redstone cable. Not many of the other things are hooked up to redstone cables just yet, just because I only did enough to make the core back and then run the long line that runs here at head height over to the battery buffers for the EBF. I did that so that I wouldn't have to worry about power loss when trying to keep the EBF powered. As long as I'm not running any of this stuff, it will constantly have 4 batteries to apply power, but they never drain because I've got the 4 turbines worth of power over here. I can't say the same for the advanced electrolyzer. I'm still not sure why, even though this guy right here is a redstone alloy cable and all of these ones behind it are also redstone alloy. When it comes to this guy, he just isn't getting power fast enough, and I'm not sure if that's because it's sending 4 separate packets to it and it's just mistimed or what the deal is, but yeah, this guy does not like however it's trying to receive power. So that's why I made the battery. I'm assuming the same thing is going to happen up here and on this guy up there. Now the whole reason again for making this advanced fluid extractor is so that I can make some of the, I gotta use some of my raw silicon in order to make the redstone alloy. And then the redstone alloy, once I cook it up in the EBF, it does a nice job of being melted down in order to make these vacuum tubes at the most efficient cost possible so that I can make these electronic circuits. But it's nice to at least have 2 of my MV machines done and ready to go. And now I can, you know, move on to other things. You know, making the thermometer. I believe I needed the extract. No, I need to compress stuff, and then I need the cutter. So the cutter is really the next thing in order to do the thermometer, because then I have to lathe the, I think it's a diamond plate. I have to lathe in order to get the glass piece that you need in order to progress further in Thaumcraft. So that is helping us also to get along in our magic stuff. Otherwise, now I can focus on making extruder shapes, and then I was thinking about maybe getting a basic ethylene setup going so that we can make polyethylene more easily, get the bending machine so that I can make the spade, and then also getting that MV cutting machine. And those will of course require circuits, and the circuits are why I went down this route in the first place. So yeah, I'm going to be working behind the scenes on doing that. I'm going to be working some more on the plants in the back, and then also with the bees. The bees over here. Oh, looks like they're done again. So let's go ahead. Oh, hey, there's another one. I'm happy about that. Okay, here we go. You, and then run away so I don't get poisoned. So anyway, yeah, off for more fun with the AFK things. I'm going to see what I can spend coins on. If you guys have any ideas what things might be good to spend coins on. The bees, I might get some hives or something from the bees, specifically like the forest hive, so that I can start getting some of those. Maybe the water hive. And it doesn't have it, the ocean bees. The ocean bee would be nice to have have some, because I believe they're the ones that start with a 4 drone rate, and those can be extremely helpful. So yeah, other things might be diodes. Who knows? I've got plenty of the Technician 10s. I may buy some diodes, but I did use a newer setup. If we take a look at these guys, I used this one here this time, fine annealed copper with some small gallium arsenide and some molten polyethylene, and it gave me 6 at a time instead of whatever the rate is when I'm at the lower end of it, probably just 1 at a time when I was using glass. So yeah, good stuff happening all around. I'll be back after a while. It looks like we're only at about 22 minutes for this episode, so I'll see you back here in a bit. Well, back again, this time to go ahead and wrap up the episode. So, I prepped everything that I would need in order to make a couple of different machines. The first of which being our basic scanner. So I can finally scan all of these seeds that are in here. It'll also allow us to start scanning stuff like the bees and things. So all in all, it's a good thing to get set up and have up and running. So there is our basic scanner. That will also unlock another section of the farming, fishing, and cooking, because now we can do unknown seeds no more. I've been using the spyglass thing to look at them, so I'm gonna have to just like make a bunch of stuff and not know what they are in order to knock out this quest, and then that will lead into a big branching set of quests down here for all of the special crops that we can get. So that's an eventual thing there. Here you can see everything that I've done. I collected just some stuff to make biofuel with, even though I haven't gone down that line. I electrolyzed some ruby dust just so that we can get that knocked out. I'm not going to accept that one just yet. I did this battery buffer, that 4-slot battery buffer there, so we're good there. Made a pump for one thing. Made 2 of the conveyor modules, and that is for the assembler. I also made 2 of the robot arms in order to get 2 more circuits that I'm using to make that assembler. And then we have the finishing touches on the extrusion. I made all of the different extrusion shapes. Only one of them. I made sure to not duplicate the ones I got out of that loot game. There's that. I don't need more salt, so I'm good there. Plenty of salt coming from the loot bags. And then I don't need the programmed circuits. I'm just going to go with another loot bag there. So maybe after we're done here real quick, then we'll take a look at that stuff. That did complete our scanner. So there we go. I did a bunch of magnetic rods to make the the motors, the MV motors require those. And then I finally made enough of the lubricant to get that quest done as well. So there we go. That's everything there. Over here we still, oh, that one that I'm not going to accept. I did make a redstone comparator to make a redstone clock, and the redstone clock I put onto the smelter in order to dump out the aluminum dust that I'm melting into the raw aluminum, so that even though it takes a minute each, it's less tedious than trying to go through the whole aluminum line. So yeah, I was doing that kind of stuff there. So I'll put these coins away. I've got several loot bags here now. So there we go, to include a forest ranger and a couple of basic bee bags that we can open. But anyway, I also have now the MV for, here is our assembling machine, and then the other one and one of these guys for our bending machine. And of course the bending machine, as you know, was big. I was trying to go for it. We get some dense steel plates, so I don't have to actually make any. And then we can use that in order to make our spade. So the spade requires a file. Let's see here. Let's just do this way. So 3 plates, the weeding trowel, a hammer, a file, and then a long wooden stick. So there is my wooden stick. We have our 3 plates. And then I said I needed a hammer and a file. Let's see here. So I think, how did this go? Hammer goes up top, file goes in the other corner. So there, and then the last thing that we need is our weeding trowel. And there we go. Now we have the spade. So I've got the advanced bending machine done, the spade is done, and the assembling machine is done. So that is fantastic. Now this spade is going to be great. As you can see by its tooltip, it has a higher chance of yielding seed bags, which will be great for these guys. Some of these things I can't actually make use of, like the Titania plant. I can't actually make use of it until after we actually get some titanium to put underneath it, but it's nice to have the seed bags there. I can attempt to 10-10-10 them, or I have to recall what the proper number is, like 21-10-10 or something like that, in order to get the highest yield out of them without them turning to weeds just due to their growth. So yeah, let's see, our plates can go in here. The redstone torch is in there. Oh, right, the tin cables. The tin cables are for this guy right down here. I've got the stuff to make a basic cutting machine, and that opens up some other quests in the MV line, or the LV line rather. Diamond tanks, diamond chests, personal chunk loading, Akihabara, so you can do your marketplace for your for any of the merchants that you might have if you have a villager thing set up and you need to buy stuff from them. So yeah, that is pretty much everything. I need to make some more wires. I'm going to put my, let's see here, I've got my basic cutting machine, and I've got my basic scanner. So I'm probably going to put the basic cutting machine down here like so. The cutting machine can go there like so. And then for right now, the big one that I need up is probably that guy. But we can go ahead and also slap this guy down, and that way we've got all of them there. We'll just make a couple more of the annealed copper cables for our small MV setup over there. But things have been going great. Have been working away on stuff. I finally have the solar silicon to try and do that in the next episode. And then, yeah. I guess we can do some loot bags just so that we can get those guys out of the way. I think I have one fortuned tier 2 loot bag. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and grab all of these guys. and Forest Ranger and basic bees. And where do we have spots? So we have a little bit of room there, a little bit of room down here. All right, let's go ahead and open these things up. So first basic bees, we got cooked chicken and a sticky propolis by the looks of it. Second one, some eggs. Okay, so nothing bee or basic about either of those things. Next one up, let's go ahead and do this MV one that's fortune. We're guaranteed to get some good loot from that. 8 motors, 4 levers, and an iron to gold chest upgrade. Well, let's go ahead and take that and we'll slap it on there, and that'll give us a little bit more room to put more stuff away in that one. One of these guys has some levers already. But I can't seem to figure out where, so back in here they go. Anyway, LV1 loot bag here. Standard minecart hull and a muffler upgrade. Hey, I can finally turn off the noise from one of those machines over there. Not a big thing, but yeah, definitely worth it. 2 books, some coated circuit boards and some bone meal. Not really worth it. Fences. Okay. Some food and some glass panes. Some more food. A hammer. A wrench and another sacred oak, because, you know, I want to place those all the time. I'll pop those bottles of enchanting here in a bit. Forest Ranger basic. Some poplar wood. A stack of poplar wood. Okay. Steam Age. Another pile of salt and a book. Some epic bacon. Iron ore and a hearty breakfast. And then another sacred oak. I think I've got 2 others like in here somewhere. That one. That one. Okay. All right. Here we go then. Necrotic bone. These are what? LV? MV. A block of redstone. A block of gold. Some good circuits and a soldering alloy. Gates. Those and another necrotic bone. Torches and screws. A door factory and a Beealyzer. Okay, now we're talking. That Beealyzer will come in handy. A machine chassis from Ender.io. That might just complete a quest later on. Industrial diamond and some charcoal. 16 redstone torches and a leather pant. Another necrotic bone. Iron vanishing frame and some chests. Cooked chicken. Ooh. Plumbilia seeds and a ball of moss. That might go on a tool here shortly. Farm hatches as opposed to the farm valves that I had earlier. Slimy sapling that I put somewhere else. Won't worry about that too much. Some more iron bars and bone meal. An elevator. Some more bottles of enchanting. Ooh, a creative tool modifier. That might go onto like my crossbow or something. Beeswax and some coated circuit boards. And some electric motors, and then lastly some copper cables. So yeah, that catches us all up to all of the loot bag stuff that I have. One thing I did notice, these guys right here, this exquisite emerald and exquisite ruby, means that I can convert them into lenses, and then those without having to like make other stuff. It just works in the oops, not that one. Let's see here. That. In the lathe, I can just take the exquisite ruby and put it straight into the lathe and get a ruby lens for a red lens, and then same thing with the emerald for a green lens. So after a bit, I'm going to take care of that, because on my list of things to make very soon is, I think it's right down here somewhere, is the laser engraver. I think it's literally right here hiding just past the wafers, or it's part of the wafers. So yeah, that is the end of this episode. I'm going to go ahead and call it here. We got our MV bending machine. I have the stuff, part of the stuff for an advanced cutting machine so that we can do some of the more cutting stuff like the boule. We got our spade taken care of, and then that cutting machine that I already made should go into making a thermometer now. So that'll be fun, get stuff together to make a thermometer. So yeah, my list of things is decreasing. I do have the stuff so that I can look at making the advanced coke ovens, and then more electric motors to finish out the rest of the MV line that we need, to include the energy hatches that we will be using to upgrade our EBF, and then working towards some kind of fuel. When you guys see this, let me know in the comments which direction of fuel I should go. I can go the Church of Benzene and work on benzene. I can go the biodiesel route, which I haven't tried before. I've done regular diesel, but not biodiesel. Let's see here. So there's benzene, there's biodiesel. I think I'm going to give up steam, and so steam will just be however we deal with it. So yeah, biodiesel, benzene. If you think I should just stick with diesel because I've done that before as well, that's perfectly fine too. So yeah, those are pretty much our 3 power options now for when we need enough power to start working for our HV stuff. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Till then.